This thing working? Alright, what it is, guys. Yeah, back with another video. I know it's been a while since I posted on YouTube. I think the last time I posted was sometime in June or July. Definitely June. Hopefully I start to get more consistent. But anyways, just kind of want to do a little candid video about how and why I've always been picky around having guy friends as a guy. I don't know. I just never really been too fond of guy friends, and I'll tell you a little backstory. Growing up as a kid, I know I was pretty socially isolated or socially awkward. I don't know if those are the right terms, but anyways, I was definitely not the most social person. I definitely struggled socially with things like making friends and fitting in and all that type of stuff. I also know that my mom was never really a social person either. She never really liked hanging out with people and never really liked hanging out with friends, especially female friends. I don't know. I guess it runs in the family that we don't really like, I don't know. I guess it kind of runs in the family that we're not too fond of same gender friends. We don't mind hanging out with people of the same gender, but I guess we've always had more issues with same gender friendships than opposite gender friendships. But anyways, growing up, I had definitely had my fair share of acquaintances. Pretty much only guys since back in school. Just talking to girls, I was extremely shy, so I would avoid girls, anything female, like the plague. Well, until one day in high school, around it was when I was in 9th grade, so that was my first year of high school, and around halfway through 9th grade, suddenly all my guy friends that I met through high school and that have been with me throughout middle and elementary school suddenly didn't want anything to have. Suddenly, all my guy friends, or I'd call them more acquaintances, that were with me from the beginning, either the beginning of high school or I knew them since elementary or middle school, they suddenly didn't want anything to do with me anymore, and they all kind of just dumped me. I'm not sure why, but I kind of felt depressed at that time. During that time, I started using social media. I was back in 2013 when Google Plus was a thing. So yeah, I started using social media and joining communities for like teenagers and stuff like that since I was around 14 at the time. And I started to make a few friends, but the funny thing is, I was on this Google Plus community for teenagers, but it had both boys and girls, but for some reason, it was mostly girls who wanted to reach out to me, and with me, I pretty much never reached out first, but it was pretty much all girls around my age at the time who wanted to reach out to me, and they initiated friendships. And I guess at the time, I was still kind of shy when it came to talking to girls, but over time, I feel like I got over it. And I think since then, most of my close and most meaningful friendships have been with girls and women. Since for me personally, I feel like I can more be myself and be more vulnerable. I don't know if that's the right term, but I feel like I can express myself a bit more freely without judgment compared to guys, which they'll probably either just bully you or look at you a certain way if you express who you truly are. I guess another reason why I've always I haven't been too fond of guy friendships is because I've been a person that I would admit I always tend to get, I don't know if manipulated is the proper word, or influenced, yes, influenced easily. I think especially by other guys, so if other guys, especially other guys my age, are doing stupid and crazy stuff, then I'd feel more tempted to join in with them. And I guess my friends at the time were acquaintances who were guys before they all dumped me. They pretty much just doing typical boy stuff, but I guess some of them were kind of into illegal stuff, smoking, stuff like that, listening to all sorts of ungodly rap music, which I kind of wasn't messing with, to be honest. I guess even now, looking back, when I see how guys typically act, I see them either doing doing reckless stuff, like just doing crazy stupid stunts, or just like getting into fights, or like doing crazy illegal stuff, or just talk about I guess derogatory racist nonsense. Because that's something I noticed, because I noticed that with guys, especially in guy group chats, I guess I'm really more no nonsense type of guy, but I guess in with a lot of guys. I don't know how it is for women, but definitely for guys, they definitely like to talk about a lot of very, very stupid stuff. Some of it can get pretty racist and like disrespectful and derogatory, which I'm not about that at all. Recently, I was scrolling through social media and I saw a few videos of some guys in the quote-unquote red pill manosphere, people like Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines, and they were just talking about like all this crazy racist stuff, using all these racial slurs, dropping the N-word, even though those guys are actually part black. But like they're just saying a bunch of racist stuff against all against certain races, like people like Indians, Jews, Muslims, all that type of stuff. They're just literally just trashing them. And one thing I personally notice is, I don't know how it's like for women, but I feel like that definitely is more likely to go on in groups of men than compared to groups of women. So I guess that's another reason why I've always been more wary of guy friends. And not wary, but I guess I'm a bit more picky with guys. And I guess to an extent, before I preferred having female friends, because I guess those are the type of people who want to be friends with me. I guess another thing I'll say is a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, I don't know the exact number, but I guess for me personally, I don't really see a lot of males, especially young men who are like into their faith, spirituality, or even just anything like constructive or just personal growth, or just willing to be themselves, be vulnerable if they would like, and like just have a meaningful friendship. But I guess a lot of them just want to do like stupid stuff, and just either aren't going much anywhere in their life, and I don't know, I kind of like don't want to be like that. So I guess that's probably why I don't really fit in with a lot of the guy crowd, especially with young men. That being said, don't get me wrong, I love my female friends, and I have quite a lot of them. And to an extent, I would say that I get along a bit better with females in general and with female friends compared to guys. But at the same time, I actually have quite a few guy friends, because I'll tell you a story. Because back in 2022, prior to that, I pretty much had no close friends at all, neither in person or online. But I think around August of 2022, which is about 3 years ago from today, this Christian girl DM'd me on a Christian subreddit. I guess I posted on there I was going through a hard time and battling discouragement, and she really encouraged me with her own testimony. She was my age as well. Turns out we lived in the same country, both in Canada. I lived in the Toronto area. She was more in the western side of Canada, in the Vancouver area. But you know that. But yeah, she really encouraged me with her testimony, and then we became good friends ever since, even to this day. Like, she was actually my first true friend and my first true Christian friend in general. And over the time, she prayed for me that I'd have more friends and have more community, especially with the more godly men that are on their purpose, that are good, have good morals, aren't into the nonsense. And lo and behold, her prayer's been answered. I know she's a very, very strong prayer warrior, a very obedient, faithful Christian. So I definitely know God's listening to her prayers, because I know there are Bible verses that say that if you have sin in your life, or if you're harboring unrepentant sin, then your prayers are going to be hindered and God's not going to hear. On the other hand, if you're being obedient, then you should know automatically that God hears your prayers, and if you're praying in His will, you have what you are asking for, guaranteed. Yeah, over the last year or two, I've been meeting some good guy friends, both online and in person, especially at my new church I've been going to within the last year. So that's been a real blessing. And honestly, I think it's important it's good as a guy to have good godly friendships that are with good godly men who are actually on fire for the Lord, not just people who are lukewarm and either religious or don't have any relationship with the Lord, or just don't really walk in the power, aren't really living a godly and holy life. That being said, I'm not discounting any of my female friends either, because I think in a way that more women have had a positive influence in my faith than men comparatively. But I guess, yeah, that's just something I wanted to touch on. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.